Zara Adeyemi discovered her company had been sold the same morning. She was supposed to pitch to investors who could change everything, and the man who bought it was sitting in her chair. She arrived at the office at 6 a.m., running on 3 hours of sleep and pure adrenaline. The pitch deck was perfect. 5 years of work distilled into 20 slides that proved her product, an AI assistant for accessibility, could revolutionize how disabled users navigated technology. The investors were coming at 9. Her team was ready. This was it. Then she opened the boardroom door and froze. 12 people she didn't recognize sat around her conference table. Lawyers, executives, people in suits that cost more than her monthly salary. And at the head of the table in her chair sat Lucas Reed. She recognized him instantly. Everyone did. Tech billionaire, 34 years old, built 3 companies from nothing and sold them for billions, known for hostile takeovers and strategic ruthlessness. He was more intimidating in person than in photographs. Dark eyes that missed nothing, presence that filled the room like gravity. "Miss Adeyemi," he said, standing, "we need to talk." Zara's stomach dropped. "What's happening?" "Your board voted to accept an acquisition offer last night. As of 6 a.m. this morning, Viatech belongs to Reed Innovations." His voice was calm, matter of fact, like he was discussing the weather, not destroying her life. The room tilted. "That's impossible. I have majority shares." "Voting shares, not majority equity. Your early investors negotiated different terms than you realized." He slid a folder across the table. "It's all legal. I'm sorry you weren't informed sooner." Sorry. He was sorry. Zara wanted to scream, to throw something, to demand he get out of her company, her building, her life. Instead she said, voice shaking, "So what now? You strip it for parts, fire my team, turn 5 years of work into a tax write-off." "No," Lucas gestured to the chair beside him. "Sit, please." "I'd rather stand." "Suit yourself." He opened another folder. "Here's my offer. You stay on as CEO, same salary plus 20%, full creative control. Your team remains intact. The only change is that Reed Innovations handles operations, funding, and distribution." Zara stared at him. "What's the catch?" "No catch. You built something remarkable. I want to scale it, but I'm not arrogant enough to think I understand your vision better than you do." He met her gaze. "I didn't buy your company to silence you, Miss Adeyemi. I bought it because you see the future better than I do." The words should have been flattering. They felt like manipulation. "I don't believe you," Zara said. "Smart, you shouldn't trust me yet, but you should read the contract." He stood. "You have 48 hours to decide. If you walk away, I'll pay out your equity in full. If you stay, we do this your way." "Why would you give me that kind of control?" Lucas's smile was slight, dangerous, because control is an illusion. Real power is knowing when to delegate. He moved toward the door, then paused. "And Miss Adeyemi, your 9 a.m. pitch meeting. I'm your new investor, don't disappoint me." Then he was gone. And Zara stood in her boardroom, not her boardroom anymore, trying to understand what the hell had just happened. She took the deal. Not because she trusted Lucas, but because walking away meant abandoning her team. And Zara Adeyemi didn't abandon people. The first month was war. Lucas wanted to triple her timeline. Zara refused to rush quality. He pushed for enterprise clients. She insisted on accessibility-first design. Every meeting was a battle of wills between someone who valued speed and someone who valued purpose. "You're being stubborn," Lucas said after one particularly brutal strategy session. "I'm being principled. There's a difference. Principles don't scale." "Then maybe your definition of scale is the problem." Zara crossed her arms. "I didn't build this to make you richer. I built it to help people. If you can't understand that, maybe you bought the wrong company." Lucas studied her for a long moment. "You're right." She blinked. What? You're right, I was thinking like an investor, not a partner. Your way is better. He leaned back in his chair. I apologize. Zara didn't trust the apology. Billionaires didn't just admit they were wrong. But over the next few weeks, Lucas proved it. He slowed the timeline, prioritized accessibility features, listened when Zara pushed back, and slowly, grudgingly, she started to respect him. More than that, she started to see him. Not the billionaire, not the shark, but the man who stayed until 2 a.m. debugging code because he refused to ask her team to do it, who remembered her coffee order, who challenged her thinking in ways that made her better. You're good at this, she admitted one late night, both of them exhausted and half delirious. At what? Pretending to care. Lucas looked at her, and something in his expression shifted. I'm not pretending, Zara. The use of her first name made her heart stutter. He'd been calling her Miss Adeyemi for 6 weeks. This felt intimate, dangerous. Don't, she said. Don't what? Don't make this personal. We have a working relationship, that's all. Is it? He moved closer. Because the way you look at me when you think I'm not watching suggests otherwise. Zara's breath caught. You're my boss. Technically, yes, but you have full autonomy. I can't fire you without board approval, which you control. So what's the real reason you're pushing me away? Because I can't afford to fall for someone who holds all the power. Because wanting you feels like weakness. Because I've spent 5 years building something that's mine, and letting you in means risking everything. Because I don't date billionaires, she said instead. Lucas smiled, sad, understanding, fair enough. He stepped back, and Zara hated the disappointment that flooded through her. 2 weeks later, everything changed. The product launched. It was massive, downloads in the millions, press coverage, investor interest, everything Zara had dreamed of. And through it all, Lucas stayed in the background, let her take the spotlight, deferred to her in interviews, made it clear this was her vision, her success. It should have felt like victory. Instead, Zara couldn't stop thinking about what he'd said, about how she looked at him when she thought he wasn't watching. You like him, her best friend Maya said over drinks. I respect him professionally. You're in love with him. I'm not. Zara, I've known you for 10 years. I've never seen you like this. You light up when you talk about him. You check your phone constantly. You stayed late at the office 3 times this week for meetings that could have been emails. Maya leaned forward. You're falling for him. I can't fall for him. He's what, rich, powerful, the guy who respected you enough to hand control back. Maya's voice softened. Or are you just scared? Zara's throat tightened. What if I'm wrong about him? What if this is just strategy? What if? What if it's real? What if he actually sees you? Zara, you've spent 5 years being strong. Maybe it's okay to let someone in. But before Zara could respond, her phone buzzed. A news alert. Read innovations under federal investigation for securities fraud. Her blood ran cold. She called Lucas immediately. He answered on the first ring. I'm handling it, he said before she could speak. What's happening? Someone leaked false documents suggesting I manipulated stock prices. It's not true, but the investigation will take months. My company's stock is already tanking. His voice was strained. I need to ask you something. What? The board is demanding you testify. They think if you publicly distance yourself from me, it'll protect Viatech. They want you to say the acquisition was hostile, that you had no choice. Zara's stomach dropped. Is that what they want or what you want? I want you to do whatever protects your company. A pause, even if it destroys me. Lucas. I'm serious. I gave you control for a reason. If testifying saves Viatech, do it. Don't sacrifice what you built for me. What if I don't want to choose? You have to, that's how this works. His voice cracked slightly. I won't ask you to go down with me, Zara. You deserve better than that. The line went dead, and Zara sat there, world crumbling, facing an impossible choice. The next 72 hours were hell. The board pressured her constantly. Lawyers drafted testimony. The media circled like sharks. And Lucas went silent. Before we continue, can I ask you a question? Where in the world are you watching from? Comment below because we'd love to know how far these stories travel, and hit that subscribe button. No calls, no texts, just a formal email from his lawyer. Mr. Reed has stepped down as chairman of Viatech effective immediately. All decision-making authority reverts to CEO. He walked away, given her complete control, just like he'd promised. Zara should have felt relieved, empowered, free. Instead, she felt sick. Because she knew Lucas, had worked beside him for 3 months, had seen how he treated people, how he built systems that helped rather than exploited, how he'd respected her vision even when it cost him. And she knew he was innocent. The testimony was scheduled for Friday. Wednesday night, Zara made a decision. She called an emergency board meeting. "I'm not testifying against Lucas Reed," she announced. The board erupted. "You'll destroy the company. This is career suicide. We'll vote you out." "Then do it." Zara's voice was steel. "Because I won't lie to save my reputation. Lucas Reed acquired this company legally. He gave me full control. He supported my vision. And if you think I'm going to betray him to save face, you don't know me at all." The investigation is based on fabricated evidence. I've seen Lucas's books. I've worked with his team. He's not a criminal. He's just a man who built too much too fast and made enemies. She looked at each board member. "So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to testify, but I'm going to tell the truth, all of it. And if that tanks the company, at least we go down with integrity." Silence. Then her CFO said quietly, "I'm with you." One by one, the rest of the board agreed. And Zara realized she'd just bet everything on a man she'd sworn not to fall for. The testimony was brutal. Federal prosecutors grilled her for 6 hours, demanded emails, questioned her relationship with Lucas, tried to paint her as complicit or coerced. But Zara didn't waver. She explained the acquisition, the contract, the autonomy Lucas had given her, how he'd built systems that protected employees rather than exploited them. "Mr. Reed could have controlled everything," she said, "but he chose not to, because he understood something most billionaires don't. Real power isn't about ownership, it's about trust. And you trust him." "Completely." The prosecutor smirked. "Even though you're romantically involved." Zara's heart stopped. "We're not. We have testimony suggesting otherwise. Late-night meetings, personal conversations, witnesses who saw." "Whatever witnesses saw, they saw 2 people working. Nothing more." Zara's voice was firm. "I won't let you twist a professional relationship into something scandalous just because it doesn't fit your narrative." But the damage was done. By the time she left the courthouse, the headlines were everywhere. CEO defends billionaire amid romance speculation. Her phone exploded with calls, messages, reporters. And one text from Lucas, "I'm sorry, you didn't deserve this." Zara called him immediately. "Where are you?" "My apartment, hiding from cameras." He sounded exhausted, broken. "Zara, what you did today was tell the truth. It's going to cost you." "I don't care." "You should. Your reputation is fine because I chose integrity over optics. Something you taught me, actually." She paused. "Lucas, I need to tell you something." "What?" "I lied in that courtroom when they asked if we were romantically involved." Silence. "We're not," Lucas said carefully. "No, but I want to be." Zara's voice shook. "I've been fighting it for 3 months, telling myself it's unprofessional, dangerous, that you have too much power, but watching you walk away from the company, watching you give up control to protect me, I realized something. What? That power was never the problem, it's what you do with it. And you've spent 3 months proving you'd rather have a partner than leverage. Tears burned her eyes. So I'm asking, do you want this? Actually want this? More than anything. His voice was rough with emotion. But Zara, if we do this, there's no going back. The media will tear us apart. The board will question every decision. It's going to be brutal. Then we'll be brutal right back, together. Lucas laughed, broken, relieved, real. Can I see you? I'm already on my way. She hung up, and for the first time in 3 months, Zara felt absolutely certain she was making the right choice. Lucas opened his door looking like he hadn't slept in days, but when he saw her, his entire expression transformed. "Hi," he said. "Hi." They stared at each other. Then Zara stepped forward and kissed him. It wasn't soft. It was 3 months of tension and fighting and respect, and something that felt terrifyingly like love. Lucas pulled her inside, kicked the door shut, and kissed her like she was oxygen. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he pressed his forehead to hers. "I love you," he said. "I've loved you since you called me arrogant in our second meeting and refused to back down." Zara laughed through tears. "I love you too, even though you're a billionaire who bought my company." About that, Lucas pulled back, handed her a folder. "Read this." Inside were documents, legal papers, stock transfers. "What is this?" "I'm giving you majority equity in Viatech, full ownership. Reed Innovations will remain an investor, but you'll have complete control, financially, legally, in every way that matters." His voice was steady. "I don't want leverage over you. I want a choice, a real one." Zara's hand shook. "Lucas, I know it doesn't fix the power imbalance, but it's a start. And if you want me to step away entirely, I will. I'll divest, walk away, whatever you need to feel like equals. I don't need you to be poor to love you." She set down the papers. "I need you to be honest, to keep challenging me, to treat me like a partner, not a possession. Can you do that? Every day for the rest of my life?" "Then that's enough." They spent that night talking, planning, building something real from months of tension and trust. And when morning came, Lucas asked, "What happens now?" "Now we face the world together. The investigation, the media, the board, all of it. As partners." As partners. 6 months later, the investigation cleared Lucas completely. The charges were dropped. His reputation recovered. But more importantly, he and Zara built something neither had expected. A relationship based on choice, not convenience. Challenge, not control. Trust earned through action, not words. They kept working together, fighting, growing, building a company that valued people over profits. And when Lucas proposed, on the roof of the building where they'd first fought about timelines, it wasn't with a massive diamond or grand gesture. Just a simple question: will you keep choosing me? Zara smiled through tears. "Every single day. Even when I'm being stubborn about scale. Especially then." They got married 6 months later. Small ceremony, close friends, the team they'd built together. And as they exchanged vows, promising to challenge each other, trust each other, choose each other, Zara looked at her husband and thought, this was real power. Not control, not ownership, not wealth. But partnership, the kind built on letting go instead of holding on trusting someone enough to give them everything, and choosing them anyway. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I truly appreciate you for spending your time here. It means a lot more than you know. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I really want to hear from you. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. Your support helps the channel grow and brings more stories like this your way. Thank you for being here. More amazing stories are coming, don't miss them.